Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is G. Cole, and welcome to Homegrown, where I get to share with you some good music while talking to some great people. Hello, world. Hope you're feeling as good as I am. I want to big up all my homegrown listeners out there and welcome all the new listeners. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so we can keep you updated when new material is available. We will be posting new episodes bi-weekly. Want to thank everyone who has been listening and sharing. Please leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Please check out the website homegrownwithgcole.com to listen and for all things homegrown. The podcast is now available on iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Radio.com, YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcast, we're there. We're also very interactive. Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at MyGCole. The video of this interview is available on YouTube. Please subscribe to our Homegrown with G. Cole YouTube channel. This is episode 94, and it comes to you courtesy of Tad's Records' latest release, Gregory Isaacs' dub versions vinyl cut. It is a 2-disc vinyl set, all right? Straight up dub vibes from the cool ruler himself, Gregory Isaacs, featuring songs like Stranger in Town, Soon Forward, Cool Down the Pace, Night Nurse, Love Me With Feeling, John Public, and a whole lot more, all right? And I'm talking about the dub, all right? Works on here from Lee Scratch Perry. We got the likes of Dean Fraser on here. It's an awesome body of work, all right? Gotta get this one in your collection. And of course, did I mention Flabba Holt, Robbie Lynn, Sly and Robbie, Steely and Clevie, The Roots Radix Band, Bunga Herman, Namba Robinson, Chico Chin, and a whole lot more. And guess what? Mixed by King Tubby. Don't say I didn't tell you. Remember, Gregory Isaacs' dub versions, the vinyl cut. Courtesy of Tad's Records. Add it to your collection now. Today we speak with a Grammy Award-winning singer, songwriter, musician from the band Morgan Heritage, Mr. Gramps Morgan. Sir Gramps, so what go on?
Yes, sir, man, as I respect every time.
It's a joy, bro. It's a joy. Let me first of all say, people might bad me up big time, wickedly.
No, why am I bad you?
No, I had to be say, yo, me intro the show like I always do. But I just said Gramps. I guess I said Gramps too early, and you know the thing already.
All good.
But welcome to Homegrown G. Cole. We're on Jamaicans.com right now and all over, and a lot of people are listening in. So I want to say on behalf of them and myself, thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Salute, man. Salute every time.
Much respect. Now, we're diving right in. We'll catch up in a minute because, I'm a person like this. I love hearing the backstories, and I realize that sometimes for me to realize why I appreciate the artist and why the artist does what they do, we kind of got to look in the rearview mirror a little bit. But right now, we're talking about brand spanking new album, brand spanking new solo album, right?
Yes.
Dropping right now. And it is out. I had the pleasure of, as a matter of fact, you saved me on a flight today because I was on a long flight. I'm not telling no lie. It was just a joy to sit back and enjoy enjoy this one as I flew home. Now, the album dropped when? When did it drop?
July 23rd on His Majesty's birthday.
Cool, man. And the best month of the year also. So we appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate it. You know what I mean? We not say we're not show off, but we are. It is what it is. Now, I listened to the album before actually reading the press release and the promo stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I was feeling cold country. I was feeling folk. I was feeling taking me back to when I was a youth, just feel good music. Not even say reggae music, but feel good music. And then I read the promo material, and I'm like, oh, so this is not happenstance. This is what you set out to do. Talk to me a little bit about this album.
Well, we wanted to. Everybody was in a hole, mentally, financially, emotionally, and I just wanted to make an album that would really just bring people into that sunshine energy, and remind us Caribbean people when we used to play music on a Sunday, and rice and peas are bubble, and the coconut milk are bubbling in your nose, and you say, yo, we just want some nice music I play now. And those songs were, the Toots and the Maytals, the Funky Kingston album. It was some Dolly Parton. It was the Kenny Rogers album. It was Heptones. That was the energy. And I realized that the smile of our music has gone to a lower frequency, where people can really smile again our music. And where people in a Jamaica go to the countryside and enjoy the country, because a lot of people that really don't. Me have people at St. Thomas who never got Mobile yet. Never
Yes.
got Ochi yet.
Yeah.
There's people in St. Thomas, Jamaica that's never been to Kingston.
Wow.
So I'm trying to show them, say, yo, we have to vacation where we live. And that's what the whole album kind of embodied, just bringing back that sunshine and that fun energy, you know?
I love that. I love that. It's amazing. You know, I dissect the music sometimes too much, but I like what you said just now, because it takes me back to now the Mothership, a Morgan Heritage song.
Yes.
That song where I say, boy, you see anything for smile about.
Yes.
You understand? And it amazes me because we're supposed to be, we talk about the music and sometimes we complain, oh, some other people take it over. Why is it that some people sell and some don't? And I always realize that some music are happy. Some music are feel good. There's happy chords and some people don't even know say, that exists.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I heard that on this record. That feeling the way you say, like a happy and smile, that's kind of what I was feeling from the get-go coming. But again, that country twang, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about the collaboration with you and the producer in getting this project done.
Well, I met him at a hockey game in Nashville, Tennessee, and me and him did a whole vibe, and him come over to me being an artist, being a producer, and him just open up a studio. And he said to me, hey man, what's going on? And I start talking to him, and I said, why the pandemic wicked, you know? And him I tell me, say, boy, man, I tell you, he's from Scotland, so it just show you that two people from two different walks of life can come together and really shine alike. You know, here's a Jamaican Rastaman musician, and here's a Scottish country singer, songwriter, performer, studio owner. And we got together, and I just really was sharing with him, say, I want to become a better songwriter throughout this whole pandemic, especially while we have the time. Because not all the time musicians have time to stay home or to have the time to go into a studio. We're always on the road touring. So I said to him, say, you know, I'll come by the studio tomorrow, because he said he had a bunch of microphones that Johnny Cash did sing pan, and Ray Charles and Willie Nelson. I'm going to say, yo, man, just touch one of them microphones there.
Yeah.
And I went there, and he played some songs to me. And the first song he played for me, that song, I think was a Run Away, Man, I Want to Run to You. I'm listening to that man say, yo, I say, my tune that now. And him start laughing. I said, that's my song, mate. And I put my voice on it, and we just start share different songwritings, and I share with certain things when we would have say in a part one. We just start share songwriting skills. And one of the things I want to share with you, is that it's not every artist is a songwriter.
Right.
And it's not every songwriter can be an artist. And this is one of the things that I have learned a long time ago, but never had a chance to really sit down and sharpen up my skills as a songwriter. So I'm really excited for people to hear this album where, and personally, it's one of my best recording in my entire career. Right. And when I say that, I'm talking about the quality of the recording. When people, it's the comparison I'm singing on a $3,000 microphone or a $1,000 microphone as to singing on a $25,000 microphone. Damn. It makes that much of a difference. And I can't even imagine get some of our singers and artists on some of those microphones, because it makes a difference.
Right. The infrastructure does make a difference. And like you said, you know, we get quality music from an artistic, creative songwriter standpoint, but should we be able to get some of the infrastructure, some of the technology, like I said, a real microphone like that, and put some of our favorite artists on it? Can you just imagine what would come out of them speakers?
Yes. Oh, well, that is my mission, you know.
Yeah.
To want carol music first, because for sure we have influenced so many different genres and so many artists. You have seen it from the Lauryn Hill to No Doubt to Wycliffe Jean to you name it, the Police, Sting. All these artists around the world have been influenced by reggae. But one of the things, that's why in Jamaica we had the Jamaica Music Conference, and it is so important that artists, especially the next generation and artists that exist today, to really educate themselves about our industry, because a lot of artists just want to hear them song play on the radio and say, yo, what you play on the radio? But don't understand the business of it, or how to monetize certain things, or how to properly go to a proper recording studio. Even some of the producers, this we have recording in your bedroom, and it can be done, but make sure you have a solid microphone, a solid vocal chain. Those things are really make the difference when you listen back on your phone, or if you can listen a song on a cell phone and the look of speaker and it sound good.
Yeah,
good product.
I dig that. And especially when I don't want to say complain, but we do speak on the fact that we always say, well, our music don't get the mainstream attention and the mainstream attraction. But truth be told, a lot of times there's quality control in everything, from food to housing to music. You know what I mean? And if we don't put the certain quality into it, it just doesn't add up. It just doesn't equate.
Yeah.
No, you said something a while ago when you talk about this business of music. I'm gonna take you back right now till up to 2013.
Yeah.
We ain't remember nothing about. Well, I'm gonna take you back to 2013 right now. I was at a radio station doing a promo for a single that a band that just dropped. You were there promoting, I think it might have been your second solo album. Right?
Okay.
And we end up on the same station and so forth. And before I got off, the person interviewing me said, do you have anything you want to tell Gramps or ask Gramps? And I said, yeah, that's just whatever advice you got to offer me. I remember, but your response was, heard the music is cool, so we ain't got to go that route. But you told me to go get a book called This Business of Music, right? I got the book in my studio right now, so I did go get it, right?
Yes.
How important is it that we, especially from the reggae genre and our culture, dive into, educate ourselves, better ourselves on actually the business of music?
It's very important, because here it is that the Latin community has taken one tune, one rhythm from the island of Jamaica and turned it into $1 billion industry.
Yep.
They only took one, right? And they have learned how to monetize it. That boom, which is it, dembo.
Yep.
Dembo. Man on the table, you say nothing, right? I want rhythm man and take and learn until it told it not a great tu quiero, too much go tu quiero, mami, and they took that and monetized it. And what they have is that they have a sense of professionalism, and we don't have enough. There's a lot of talent in Jamaica, and in the Caribbean. I don't want to turn into a Jamaica thing, but I'm responsible for my country. So there's so much talent, but there's not enough executives in our industry. There's not professionals. There's not enough recording engineers, not enough mixing engineers. There's a lot of musicians and a lot of artists, but the people who bring that structure to our industry, it's very few. Big up to people like Robert Livingston, Patrick Roberts, that did an amazing job with Beanie Man and the Shocking Vibes crew. The Marleys, great infrastructure. Shaggy, great infrastructure. You see what's happening Spice now since Shaggy touched our career, and you can see the difference. These are, but Shaggy alone can't do it. So what I implore people to do is to link up with a Shaggy and say, show me, brother, because somebody have that stature. When it's not even easy to sell 10 records.
That's true.
And this man sell 1 million or 10 million records on one album. There's some things we need to ask this man to say, oh, it go, brother. Instead of with bad mind, we need to there and learn from each other. And he is somebody that has shined very much so. An ex-artist, a man like Buju Banton that's been there, done that. Bounty Killer, Beanie Man, Sean Paul, these people we need to get to and ask these questions, Yeah.
I love that. And the great thing about it is that there's I talk to some of the OGs, I talk to some of the youth, and sometimes some people bring forth this myth, I'm gonna call it a myth, that there's lack of communication and people don't want to share info and so forth. But every time I go around the OGs, yourself, and again from day one, people like the Shaggies of the world and so forth, they're never stingy, they're never less than generous with the information. So I do agree with what you're saying in terms of find the folks, because whenever we find the folks, the first question we always ask is, what can you do for me? We can get a collab, we can get a co-sign, like you said, give me some knowledge,
Yeah.
And it can change the world, trust me.
Yeah.
It can change the world.
And be specific about your questions too. Don't go there and ask 50 questions one time. Like, all you do is just go with a specific question, one or two. Because people like them there, I mean, it's not easy for you just get a conversation with a Shaggy. And it's not every time you'll be able to catch up with Gramps. I mean, they on the run to me, I sell jerk sauce, me I sell CBD, me I do this, me busy.
Me feel say you're twin on that quiet in the Gramps. Me feel say you're twin on that quiet in the, but think say our triplet in that three only, you know.
Why, brother, I wish it was more time. You know, we just launched a rum, you know, me and my brother there, man. And people are saying, yo, Rasta and rum, I want to deal with it. I'm like, well, my ancestors slaved for this thing and named rum. I know when we did in I fields, I cut sugar cane. So why shouldn't we benefit off of these things? And if you're into an entrepreneur spirit, you should be able to want to go into any business as long as it not kill people. I mean, in the CBD business, I'm in the cannabis space. So if you're a businessman, you have to be wise because people consume, my Rastafarian brethren, them consume alcohol. But them a drink Korean nephew, them a drink Red Stripe, them a drink Heineken, them a drink Guinness, them a drink NSC. Yeah, man. So big up to all Vibes Cartel that brought that entrepreneur spirit. And we need to learn from a man like him because he set out and started to show that example of, you know, him come with cake soap. And he came with all kind of gimmicks. He came with the rum. So we need to learn from these things now to build our country because for so long we've always looked on the next man and a cuss and I say, boy, I ain't gonna do this, I ain't gonna do that. And then when we come to do something, you ready for fight me though?
Yep. It happens and it happens too much. It happens too much. No, I've had young Jameer Morgan in the studio twice, right? Sit down, we chop it up. That's your son doing wonderful things out there in the music world.
Yeah, man.
And I have had to express to him from the first time I met Jameer that I've met sons or people from musical lineage. And generally speaking, what I see and what I get is a representation of the father, the parent. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So if you're an ass, I mean, I'm just saying. So, and I'm very proud of Jameer because of how him carry himself. Humility. Yeah. His talent is there, but he realizes the music is bigger than just the talent, and that doesn't come, especially from a young man. That not just come from within. That comes from somewhere. Talk to me about how you feel when you watch young Jameer out there doing what he does.
I'm happy, you know. I'm grateful because I've passed on what my father passed on to me, you know. And children, we tell them don't lean upon their own understanding because you see a thing named hype, it belongs to a thing named ripe. And when a fruit up on a tree and it is taking substance from the root and it get ripe too fast, it might go drop off. Wow. So you understand when we see a youth like Jameer, it wasn't easy him being born in a Brooklyn and getting that whole Brooklyn swag. When you get a youth from Brooklyn, I mean, it's hard enough. You know what I'm saying? And New Yorkers is no joke, but he listened and he saw how I was humble to my father and how me humble myself. And as a big man, still I learn and I ask that question. So he saw that this thing was good and said, me I gotta adapt the same thing. So it's really a lot of just humility. And when I see him now, you know, still I feel I guide him because now I take woman now and that's another thing. Me not tell him about wash him face and change him pampers and all them things there and go guy in bed. So it's different advice now as a man. Yeah. And as a parent, you never stop teaching. You never stop teaching and you cannot give up on your children because it's not easy to be a parent today either. So when you look on parents today, what they are facing, parents work so hard to instill proper principles, tradition, and respect in their children. And as soon as they reach the front door, they're up against the streets. Yeah. They're up against social media. They're up against the internet. So you teach your child certain things and then go up on the internet and see something else and they're influenced by it. So it's not easy to be a parent like it was 50, 60 years ago. So parents, I implore you, don't give up on your children. Be strong. Wow. Stay positive.
I love that. And like I said to him, the music has a youthful feel to it. but his conversation is when I talk to him, it's like an old soul. It's like I'm talking to a man way above his years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Even when
I dig that.
There's a new song that he did with Wycliffe Jean called My Kingdom, you know. And as a youth, I'm gonna make him understand kingdom mindset, you know, that you can't just think oh, my friend or my family. I have to think as a kingdom, because with a kingdom comes a responsibility. And I always learn and teaching that when a man make mistake, woman and children suffer. So a man make mistake in life, you have to learn from it. Or other than that, you're going to continue to make the same mistakes over and over. And you cannot continue to, especially as a man, I mean, not about the woman, that's another conversation. When a man don't learn from a mistake, he's going to continue to, before you know it, who you think him start blame? Him start blame the woman.
Yeah.
Him start blame the picnic. Him start blaming brethren.
Everybody else.
Everybody else except himself. And you cannot continue to copy and paste and make the same mistake. You have to learn in life. And me always tell a man, say, heavy is the head that wear the crown. Because what if a man want to be king but don't want to accept the responsibility of kingship? You see?
Profound words, you know, because that is so true. Everybody wants to lead. Everybody wants to be at the top, but they don't think about all the responsibility that comes with being at the top. Yeah. I dig that. Now we're talking about him as a young man. Let's talk about him as a young musician, right? And listen to him in the studio. All right, because he mentioned soaking in, sitting down and soaking in what you guys do. When hear the music coming back out, what do you think when you hear his stuff coming out?
I'm very happy because he's still relatable to the audience and his generation. To a song like Minnie, where he's talking about the minerals. He calls Minnie instead of a girl or a mini skirt. So he's using all these metaphors and these kind of references that it's like, okay, and that's where it comes in prolific and genius songwriting. That, just say it bluntly and say, yo, a judgment for the slave master, and we are talking about them, take all I go and no, him say, Minnie is a mineral. And then what he's saying in the song is that don't continue to rape Africa. But it's so playful that you are dance to it and only realize that there's a message. So to see him grow to a song like that, and I've heard him do love songs and patriotic songs and, songs where I'm, trying to be a rude boy. But when I hear Minnie talking about stealing the minerals of Africa and how long shall this continue, and he's saying that as I look at this man, he's still a baby. to hear him singing it in this way without being abrasive or dictating it to people, say boy, are trying to start trouble. He's just saying, hey, why don't we need to figure out this thing? Africa unity's time is now. Because the same message the greats used to talk, and still yet this thing is still a problem.
Yeah. I dig that, and that's how when I heard that song, I was quite impressed, and like you said, it goes back to some of your music too, in terms of it's rich, it's potent, the contents is heavy, but it's delivered sweet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like gummy vitamins. Me always say, it nourishing, but it you can't go and chew up and down and go. You know what I mean? So we're talking about the brand new album, and again, it's crossing genres. Sometimes people hear Gramps Morgan, they hear Morgan Heritage, they expect some reggae music, right? But we're crossing genres right about now. That the first time I see some of the crossing genres and done on a mainstream way and a mainstream scale was your dad.
Yeah.
Right? How do you feel that you're growing up under the tutelage of your pops, right? And how he did music, and even growing up in the US to some degree, affect your appreciation for the other genres and you being able to convey it sounding authentic? Because enough man to try to do it in a sound too right, Talk to me a little bit about those early influences, even growing up in a household with pops doing it on a mainstream scale.
We grew up, the mainstream music up in our time with people like Lionel Richie, Tina Turner, Michael Jackson, Bon Jovi, Van Halen. So as a band, we mostly was studying bands. We used to study the early Wheelers, Steel Pulse are one of Morgan Heritage's biggest influence. And there was a special album called Live in Paris Centennial, that album. And we used to fall asleep to that album.
Wow.
Hence, we end up doing over a Steel Pulse song called Red Roots Dance. So, of course, our father was the first influence, but we knew that beyond our father, we had to study the greats, you know, of the music in every genre. People like Jimi Hendrix, the Great Gang, Steel Pulse, Whitney Houston, Tina Turner, Lionel Richie, Van Halen. Those are Guns N' Roses. If you notice, Morgan Heritage shows are very edgy, it's very, you know, as I would say, rockers, another normal reggae. You have certain songs, especially when we in a spiritual sense, you find that it's more edgy. So the influence of all these different genres growing up in America was very important, listening to Top 40 radio. On Sunday, you sure see I'll get some serious reggae music for sure. If you know anything about the late 70s and early 80s, there was no iPad yet. And there was no, you'd have cassette just coming like the new thing, like it was cassette was big thing.
The TDK.
Where I come from, 8-track and vinyl. But the vinyl, you have to, when it reached the label, and you have to, your mother then in the kitchen and I make rice and peas, and she'll send you in there and say, go turn over the record there for me. And you have to go over there and take off the needle, don't scratch up a record neither.
Yeah.
Flip it over and put on the needle neatly for the B side. So these are things I remember as a youth where make me value music, period. And there was always a blend of music forever.
I love that. I love that. It's all about the influences. And I feel like anytime I see somebody doing something well, you can always see, or at least channel where the influences are. And then I also feel like when you see people doing it not well, sometimes it's because they're on that journey alone and they don't have anybody that they aspire to be like, anybody that, you know, was their influences and so forth. So we give thanks not just for your own lineage, but, you know, the other bands, because there's a period of time where Morgan Heritage was that band. And most time when I saw a band string up or whatever case may be, they were trying their endeavor best to, I don't want to duplicate, but to be like. And that in itself, I think, was great. You know what I mean?
Good, because it's the same way we used to try to emulate the Wailers, you know? We used to try to emulate Steel Pulse, Van Halen. So as a band, if you didn't see a band doing something good, you know, we go and I want to tell you, some of them say it publicly and some of them don't say it publicly. But, you know, kids like Chronics, Taurus Riley, all of them, they are Morgan Heritage, baby them there, you know.
Yep.
You know, you talk to Chronics and Chronics band and Taurus Riley band and Protege band. I feel we baby them.
Yep.
All of the musicians, so up to them that's carrying the torch and continue to build the music, you know, because it is so important that we continue this music and the legacy of Jamaican music. I think there could be more, but we can't stop. The struggle is real, and we are continuing to influence and we continue to change the world till this day.
Wow. You know, you mentioned even earlier the infrastructure, the microphone, and I mean that $20,000, $30,000 microphone and the sound that it can get out of it, right? We're talking about the studio right here. Every time I've gone to a Morgan Heritage show, it's a show like none other. I always feel like sometimes reggae artists, reggae musicians, we shortchange our genre, right? And it starts in the production side of it. Whereas when other genres come out, there's a 10-piece band because there's so many sounds and we got to get those sounds, right? When I come to Morgan Heritage, it ain't about pyrotechnics and the background dancers. It's about the show, and you feel that show. Just as important as that microphone is and that studio is. Talk to me about the importance of being able to bring that music from the studio, from the recording to the station, to the stage on a high level.
Takes a lot of practice, brother. That's one of the things that I think a lot of our artists today don't take the time to put into their show. And the sad thing is that some of the fans are not letting them know that I'm disappointed. They say, blah, 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 blah. And I say, you need to go practice, man. It don't sound like the record. You know, we need to start to show our disappointment instead of this about blah, 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 blah. Like, where is it just a certain sector of Jamaica or certain parts of Jamaica accept good music and great performances? You know, that's why people like the Bounty, the Beanie, these guys are still Bujo, Capleton. These guys are still some not only reggae,
Yeah.
but I'm talking all genres. Capleton can go on any stage, so I'm done it.
Yep.
Cooker T doesn't need a hit record to come on a show and say, I hear the words of the Rastaman say.
Yep.
So these are the things that we have to continue to show the young youth them to say, hey, check out and go study them man, because that's what we did. And today now a man get a tune on the radio. I mean, him ready to do a show.
Yeah.
So these are the things that need to change. That when we see, okay, how come we them now see best reggae album? Yes, all right?
Yeah, man, you're good.
Yeah, man. These are some of the things that when people say, all right, an award show, and they don't see the reggae category, we don't see a reggae category at the Billboard. We don't cut there is the top 20 albums on the Billboard. So we should be able to, but guess what? Enough people are not going and support the music.
Right.
When a man say, yo, I was tune that cool, I was tune that you play. Send me a copy, burn it, send it to my WhatsApp.
Yep.
A man now say, let me go set up an iTunes account and support my industry, which I love so much. You know, there's not enough VP records anymore and Moody's records just because records are not selling. Vinyl, CDs are not selling like one time because people are not consuming musically in a physical form. It's digital. So it's Spotify, it's Pandora, it's Amazon Music. But where artists are getting sales from is iTunes. So I implore to all of the fans them in tune to this show, go and set up an iTunes account. First of all, buy my new album, Positive Vibration. It's going to make your Sundays so sweet. And when you travel on the plane, you can listen it and
Easy.
it take you away. I promise you.
You can tune out that crying baby behind you and that person kicking you in the seat behind you.
Yeah. So we really need to support our industry. And reggae music is loved and consumed by the world, especially Caribbean first. So Caribbean people really go and support the music. Go and buy my new album, Positive Vibration. Go and support it because iTunes is the way where people consume their music or Amazon Music. We need to, because what's going to happen, the executive at BET is going to say, hey, nobody buys reggae music. And when he goes and look at the numbers, and I said, what? Why a new Cartel album that just come out and only 25 copies in sale? These are the things that's going on. So if we want to make that change and see our superstars on the big stage, this is what needs to happen. Because when a man run business and him run a Chevrolet commercial, he wants to know that his airtime is valuable. So if he put on star pan him thing, he can't put on a man where I sell 50 CD because nobody's watching, and he's going to believe that that the music don't have no power. But guess where Caribbean people come out and show is when it live concert. You see 20, 30,000 people. So imagine if half of those people could buy the album.
I love that.
A 15,000 record that, you know? And imagine how much reggae festival is going on around the world, but people just continue to want free music. We consume, but we do not support.
And you know what? I appreciate that sentiment. It's something we speak about a lot on the platform because I've always felt like this. Our people, we have an entitlement issue too, you know. So don't get me wrong. Oh, they'll criticize the heck out of it.
Allow me, people.
We have an entitlement issue, so we will critique the heck out of it, right? Until it's it too hybrid, it too sound like so, you collaborate with the wrong people and all that stuff, not realizing that, well, one, it's not cheap to make music. I don't know if nobody realized that it's not cheap to make music. None of that stuff, all that stuff's expensive, as well as, like you said, on the back end, somebody's crunching these numbers. They don't go to the show with you for to see how much people in the audience. They are looking at the metrics from, like you said, iTunes and the other digital outlets. And if they don't see that, then your favorite artist doesn't come to town. Your favorite artist cannot continue to make the music. And then you see him and go down and say, boy, but my artist not doing nothing. How come we're not getting a shine on the Grammy? How come we ain't got our live performances on the Grammy? Because it's not recognized because we ain't going out there and supporting it.
Yeah. Just for we to even be recognized by the Recording Academy, just to be recognized by the Grammys, to still have a category when named Best Reggae Album. Do you know? You realize that they don't have a Best Calypso or Soca? They realize that they don't have a Best Compa music, which is Haitian music. Them people that support for them genre now. So we should still be so thankful that the Grammys is recognizing our category.
Right.
We have to.
You know, I'll ask you this because I've asked different people, and different people have different viewpoints of it, right? Every year, at a certain point of the year, there's a certain polarizing point of the year, right?
Yeah.
There's certain questions that come up, you know, from a little boy, who killed JRU in Dallas? We don't know. We still try to find out, right? All kind of things are going on. Who do this? Who do that? What's separating the world? Political things and whatever. I think the most polarizing time of year for Jamaicans is a Grammy time of year, right? It's wicked on our election time, right? So it's very, very polarizing. And then of course we get to that point to where if we don't get to what we want, or we don't see what we want, then we start devaluing and say, well, it ain't worth all this. Yet still, that's all you're working for. Explain to the masses what the value, not necessarily monetarily, but what the value of being not just Morgan Heritage, not just Gramps Morgan, but the Grammy award-winning Gramps Morgan, the Grammy award-winning Morgan Heritage. Talk to the masses and let them know what that is about so they can understand a little bit more.
Well, I think there's a sense of we know what it means. I think the audiences know what it means to win a Grammy. Just for example, Snoop Dogg has been nominated 17 times. I've never won.
Nas
just win theme one Wadia. He just won one, I think it was this year.
This year.
Yeah. So let's imagine the great Snoop Dogg, aka Snoop Lion, has never won a Grammy in his entire career and has done the amount of duets and the amount of international shows he has done and the amount of he's got sold millions of albums. I'm sure at least over 15 million albums and has never won a Grammy. So it shows you two things. You don't necessarily need a Grammy to sell records. That's number one. And number two, it shows you that with all the success you have, you can still never win a Grammy, to show you how hard it is to win a Grammy. Like when people submit albums for Grammys, there's over 200, sometimes close to 300 albums. So when it comes on to the top 5, just a nomination itself is major. Because in any work, you know, if you use a politician or you want to be a president of a country, one of the greatest things and you would want to win is the Nobel Peace Prize, right? If you're an actor, you want to win an Emmy or an Oscar. And the highest in the music is you got the big up to BET Awards, big up to the MTV Awards, big up to Billboard Awards, all of these, the CMT, the Country Music Awards. So these are great awards show. The IRAMA, Fiwiting, the International Reggae and World Music Awards. Big up Mr. Ephraim Martin, Fiwiting, that I think needs to be also supported some more.
Yep.
And then you have the Grammys, which is the highest level that you can attain. It's like if you got a medical school, the highest you want to do is get a PhD, right?
Yep.
So once you reach there, you have arrived. They consider that you have arrived. However, it does not depict your success.
Right.
And people can win a Grammy and then you never hear from them again. So, you know, it can be just another metal, or you can use it and motivate yourself to get at a certain level or maintain. When we win Grammy, we never say, yeah, man, eat some bammy and saltfish. And it wasn't that thing. It was like, yo, now it's time to get to work.
Yeah. I dig that. And I think the world needs to, and as like you said, it's not that they don't know, but oftentimes I think it's best for them to hear it from you versus hearing me up on the platform. I beat up my gum every day. You know, you know what I'm saying? No, your Gramps Morgan, and Morgan Heritage is a mothership, like I said, right? You go in, you guys produce for yourself sometimes you're working with other producers. Yes. How difficult is it for you to go into a studio and have a producer realize that I'm here to create a Gramps Morgan record, or a Gramps Morgan album, not a Morgan Heritage album? Is that a struggle?
Never, because it's my voice. If you notice, my voice is different from Peter. My voice is Yuna. She's a female, so you know her voice different.
Right.
And when you hear Peter, you hear Peter. So when you hear Gramps, you hear Gramps. When you hear Mojo is the rapper, and sometimes him sing too. So everyone have their own identity. So if a producer come and them say Gramps more advice already, you know what you're going to get. If you come and say Mojo more, I do appearance, partner, like Mojo and Sizzla do a tune together. Enough people don't even know say Mojo is on a record with Sizzla,
Wow.
right? When a man hear Gramps, you know him I'll get. So I think most of the smart producers know what they're doing and can say, okay, Gramps, we have a rhythm, or and even the rhythm thing, I'm not too reading at the rhythm thing again, because this experience in making this my new solo album, Positive Vibration, the process has opened my eyes so much. So it just shows you that you can still learn. And I will never make a record like that again, where a man just send me a rhythm, I'm a vice it, and that is really for the culture. Cause we love when a man a juggling,
Yeah.
People are ball for many years say it need to stop because it kills the creativity. But it's part of the culture. It's like part of the culture, But however, I still believe that when an artist is going to create a product and say, hey, this is my album, it needs to be special.
Wow, I dig that. Now, you were doing Morgan Heritage and then decided, okay, we're gonna do some solo projects, right? That was Dad's idea.
That was my father. When my father, we was on a show we was the opening act for Buju Banton in Paris. It was a festival. We wasn't the opening act actually. It was a different tour, but we were the act that came on right before Buju. And with the show did bad. It was oh my God. The show was massive. And my father come, Buju look at me and say, wicked show, yo. And my father looked at me and said, boy, my picnic, I want to know one day we're going to do some solo projects. I say, wait, hey, Daddy, we are talking about Daddy, man, fire burn. We eat lead soup and steel crackers, Then I said, no, we are talking about no solo project ever. But here's a visionary. This is my father. We know you a long time before you know yourself. And then also, he's a man has been the architecture of Morgan Heritage. So he know what he saw. We just do the works, and I say, oh, Rastafari, and I said, got you, But he saw something. He said, what he saw there that night on that festival was 5 solo artists combined as one. And the world needs to see the different dimensions of this band. And we never understand, because you don't have to dread and reggae bring back love, and then we were so focused, so we never see that. And now, I think it was 2008, 2007, they toured the world. I remember there was a tour in 2005. We went on tour for 18 months with 11 days off.
Wow.
So it's a thing where when you're put into this music, you have to have a plan. You have to be focused on your brand. You have to, and we sat down and said, what's next? We did all of these things and tour all of these countries and all these festivals. How do we become better? Have we reached our best? No, we don't sit down and get comfortable. So I would say, yeah, we do enough tour. We say, how do we become better? And we say, all right. Father says, it's time for some solo projects now. And boom, there it goes. And we go up on tour with Buju, Taros, John Legend, India Ari, you name it. And Peter went and I hooked him up with this artist named J Boog. And I said, yo, come do some songwriting with him. And I bring that youth, they come to Jamaica and carry that Dan Corleone and link him with Taros and Richie Spice. And that was my solo project.
Wow.
Bringing my brother Peter Pan. Enough work to do, but we're not gonna
right.
Street, But the work is there to be seen, and when people dig them, I will find out and see when you enough place. Raging Fire, Eternal album that was nominated for a Grammy. My project them there. So there's a lot of things that we have done, and it's not a time for talking, it's just to do the works. But I'm just grateful to where we have reached in this music, and for everyone that has helped us along this process, along the way and the journey. But there's still much more work to be done. It's like when Shaggy told me, say he did the project with Sting, 44876, and Shaggy has been there, Backstreet Boys, Rolling Stones, big tour, 10 million albums plus. And when he worked with Sting, he said, Gramps, there are levels to this business. So me and you there in a nice chair there now and some good headphone and you do your radio show. Cool. There's levels to
this.
Gramps
It is
and
true.
music business, there's levels. So we still have work to put in.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I always felt like, you know, you hear rumblings, people are always concerned, especially with them, because again, we're possessive bad enough. So, you know, we're always concerned when our favorite band or our favorite team, even if it's a sports team.
Yeah.
If I see one man I get too much commercial, they're like, yo, damn, yo, this boy gonna get traded or something. You know what I mean? But but at the end of the day, I don't know. There was a comfort in seeing you guys doing your individual stuff. And it was one of the few scenarios where I saw it for the betterment of the band, because also when I also go to the shows now, then some of them songs that I hear you perform up there, I probably wouldn't have gotten had you not branched off and did that. And I use the word branch off loosely, but had you not ventured off and did that.
Yeah. It's important, and I think each time we have done it, because this is my third solo album. Right. This is not my first solo album. This is my third solo album. Yep. And every time I've learned something new. I'm going to bring it back to my brother then, because I had a big brother in the band. I'm going to say, yo, that thing there? Yeah. And in the second album, I say, I learned something new again. And everybody learns something new and bring it back to the headquarters and say, yo, we have to change this. We have to improve upon this. There's so much that I've learned, especially in this pandemic. I tell people this. If there is anyone, especially to the brothers again, that you enter this pandemic and exit this pandemic the same way, the same person, the same mindset, something wrong with you. Wow. Because throughout this time, 2 years, you get to improve something about yourself or learn something new or make yourself better, a better father, a better son, a better husband, a better boyfriend, a better businessman, a better radio host, a better DJ. You didn't sharpen up on the skills to improve upon yourself, then something wrong with you and you probably will never grow. And then you are bad for our community. You are bad for our nation. You are bad for our people, because you are not one to come to build. You are just there to consume and criticize and chat about and bad mind and thief and kill.
Yeah. And the truth is the truth. You know, as I speak to a lot of the people who I always on radio all the time, that term you use, there's levels to this. I always mention it when it comes to reggae music, that one of the benchmarks, and I don't always want to put the target on the back of that, you know what I mean? But one of the benchmarks is Morgan heritage. And the reason why I say that pretty much is, you know, there are different ways to evaluate what a hit is. Some people base it off of radio success. Some people say it's commercial success, how much it sells and whatever the case may be. But one thing that never wavers, because one song is going to do better than the other, it doesn't necessarily mean that the one that did best is my favorite song. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, one thing that never ever I've never seen a falter with is the quality of the music, that consistency of putting out good music and QAing and QCing your music. I said, listen, if it sound a certain way, it ain't going out there. How important is that? Not just for the artist, but for the culture and the genre of reggae music.
Yeah, well, for me and my brothers, they know me was an athlete. Me used to play American football, so I'm very competitive. He's a man with me. I was a challenge my body to different heights, right? That was in high school. So it's part of when I grow, I know, say, yo, I get on the field. No boy can't lick me down. Yeah. No. So that competitiveness and that rigorousness and that discipline and that training and that militancy, it come across in the music. So it's a mindset. That's why I say again and implore to the parents them, put your kids in sports early. Let them understand. Because sports is a thing, our music lessons make them understand a certain amount of discipline and principle, where you sit down and you learn something and you're rewarded. So they understand the reward system, so to speak. Yeah? Because if they just understand, say, mommy just come and just give this for free and dinner is free, and you know, because as a parent, you have to feed your children, you have to feed them, clothe them, take care of them nose full of boogie, wipe them and give them a kiss and them drop down and scratch them foot. You say, oh gosh. And out of that, you either find, say, the kid is real soft are in grow strong, right? That's some local 6-year-old, 5-year-old at Jamaica. Them grow different than a 5-year-old American. Different than 5-6-year-old picnic at Jamaica. I know for wash him clothes already by himself.
Yep.
And the one I'm still not know for time shoes yet. So it just shows you how Caribbean culture and Jamaican culture strong. In America, they might give you get award for 5th place and 4th place. When me and I grew up, is it a 1st or 2nd or 3rd?
I hate that.
And I hate that. Not getting a trophy for not 4th place.
No participation thing.
No, you get told, get back to the books and go train harder so you can get a trophy. So you find that we become a little bit more complacent and weaker. We have to get firm in this like, Armageddon. We have to teach our children that. So I implore to the parents them, put your kids in a sports and let them understand what it is to win and what it is to lose. And that it is for me, it's like me always want to become better. Me always want to learn. It's like when I just got my radio show and it's Rico Vibes. I was on a big station one day doing an interview and they said, man, you sound like you have a radio voice. And when I have my own radio show, it's Rico Vibes encouraged me. Big up Rico Vibes on the Flavor Radio. And this is my radio show first start and you can still catch it right there on the flavorradio.com. Log on. The Gramps Mortgage Show.
Big up Rico Vibes all the time. You know?
It's a thing for me, you know, and that's where I started until I started to syndicate the show, and Rico Vibes helped me syndicate my show, and I grew. And when I first saw it, it wasn't me that see myself narrating as Rico Vibes, hear my voice and say, at the time, actually, it was me and Buju was supposed to go up on the flavorradio.com. So let me give you some history. I'm going to talk to Buju and say, oh, you mean, me and you have a radio show? And it was, and just to see when I still kind of stuck with it, and you know what happened with Buju, you know, went away on a vacation for a little while. And it just shows you that you can start something and still grow.
Right.
You can still grow.
You know, that's one thing I always observe about the eye is that there's no ceiling. Because a lot of times we complain about the ceiling that people create for us, but we don't ever speak about the ceiling that we create for ourselves. A lot of times that we create the ceiling for ourselves, you know. But I realize that when it comes to, because again, you're talking about radio here, there's production, there is, again, we're going to a pretty much country album right about now. So it's like there's nowhere that if there's existence there that Gramps Morgan cannot go. And not only go, but do well.
I'm just showing them where we can take the music, because the album is a reggae album. Questionably, maybe a ska album.
That too, heard that.
Yeah, if you listen to it, if you hear Runaway Day, that's not country. You hear the guitar and you hear the banjo. So you think, say, but wait, but when you really stop and take a stop and listen and check, you say, but wait, a reggae man, Runaway Day.
Love that tune, by the way.
I want to run. And woman like you, good woman like you. Is a reggae album, but the overtones to the album, you hear the sprinkles of country music. You hear the songwriting that, you know.
I hear some folk in there too. I hear like a folk vibe I go on to it.
Yeah.
It has a lot. It has a lot.
But check the people, check the levels now. You study people like Harry Belafonte, Toots and the Maytals, Byron Lee and the Dragonaires. So I did my homework, you understand, when I realized that nobody's making these kinds of songs anymore. So what happened? This is the great Jamaican music that we've seen it more from ska, rocksteady, mento, reggae. Now we have dancehall. Now here we have trap dancehall. So we continue to evolve as a people and as the music. So really, I'm taking it forward by taking it back.
I love that. I love that. You know, the diversity that you're presenting in the music, and it's coming from even that first album, right? The first solo album too, because it's, to me, that didn't sound anything like Morgan Heritage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I heard it, it was totally Gramps. Yeah. Now, another OG that I sat down in here with and had a nice conversation with, and I know he had an impact on you and the band also. And I kind of get the same vibe, the no ceilings, the no walls vibe, was Bobby Digital Dixon. Right? Talk to me a little bit about that relationship with Bobby Digital.
Bobby Digital, rest in peace. Mr. Dixon was the first man that just made us say, chill out, man.
Wow.
Easy, man. I come from Brooklyn and yo, we gotta get to the studio, man. Baba, we just drive from St. Thomas. We gotta get in the studio. Because we was on a schedule. We was on that American thing, and I'll never forget Bobby Digital. One of my favorite Bobby Digital stories is Bobby Digital send we go a shop. If you go buy saltfish, 2 pounds of flour, some cornmeal, and some cooking oil. I say go shop and go buy some things, man. And just rush the vibes. So of course, when New Yorkers is like, yo, let's go, man. We gotta get to the studio, man. Let's go. What are you doing? Because in America, when you book studio time, you on the clock. You have to. But luckily, Bobby Digital owned the studio. And the first day we and then after we went come back from the shop, him send we up. If anybody know Bobby Digital studio, there's a big ackee tree above the studio now. We grew through the building, you know. And he sent us on top of the tree, on top of the roof, to go and pick ackee. Mine is some from Brooklyn. We didn't know about pick ackee. But it was such a humbling experience.
Right.
That it's not about make music. If you don't have the vibes inside of you and that energy, there's no way you're going to be able to understand what it's like to sing and sit down on a rhythm. And the energy and the vibes. Reggae music is not a complicated music, and it's an energy music, and it's a God music, you know. It's a people music. So it was a thing where we have to just relax a little bit. And even when we start singing, we start understand how to sing certain way upon the rhythm. I can't get too much of the secret, but you have to understand. Sit down upon the rhythm, you know. I can't get the whole thing, but Bobby Digital was that man that really make you just slow it down. You can't come and say, take music, no, it's not a jiggy crackers thing, it's a rockers thing. And you don't have to sit down upon the rhythm and make the woman them move them waistline. So it's a thing where we have to learn and to slow down, brother.
Now, when you guys, when I first heard of Morgan Heritage, right, and pre the music and so forth, it was presented to me. The music was presented to me as a roots reggae band.
Yeah, man.
But then there was some of the sweetest, what I would deem love songs that's in the reggae vault, in the reggae catalog right about now. When you talk about a band, when you talk about this legacy of reggae music from day one till now, whenever day one is,
yeah,
there are there's a shelf there, and there's a vault on that shelf, and there's certain songs that's tucked in there. Bob's got a couple, you know what I mean? And other artists, D Brown's got a couple, the John Holt's have got a couple, and it's just cemented there. You guys are young youths. Yeah. You maybe on same month, no, probably 2 years, 3 years old. That's it. You know what I mean? And I'm only 15, so that means you know what I mean. But when we talk about songs like "She's Still Loving Me," right? When we talk about "Down by the River," those songs are in that vault.
Yeah.
With the biggest and the best reggae songs of all times. I've been to places where, no disrespect or whatever the case may be, I can draw a bob and I don't get the response that I get when I draw "Down by the River." And it's, again, no disrespect, you know what I mean? It's just how it affects and how it connects to people. When you came on the scene, were you guys, was there an effort to be a roots band? Was there an effort to be a more commercial sounding band, being that you had the American background, or was it just music?
It was just music, and at the time, it wasn't just only music, but we just loved music, right? Because there was a time when me a DJ used to DJ in a Morgan Heritage. You know? Me was the DJ, me used to sound just like Shabba Ranks till my voice mash up. But it was a thing where when I was DJing, my voice just went low because I was just mimicking Shabba. One day, me and Shaggy have a Shabba contest in my house in Brooklyn, in Bushwick. So it's a thing where that wasn't set out. But of course, spiritually, at the time, entering this growth as a man and finding yourself, the first seal of a man is sovereignty, which is knowing what am I here for? What am I here to do? If you don't know yourself, you're going to lead a woman and a child. So the first thing a man must do, must study himself. Who am I? What am I here to do? So Rasta was the way, right? So when we got St. Thomas, Jamaica, and the hills, that energy and that spiritual teaching, and even when we discovered, me grew up as a Rasta youth in a 12 tribe, so it was been there. But again, taking it to the next level. That when we start discuss, there was a set of youth in Jamaica that was going to the Ethiopian Orthodox Church named Black Lion that was very knowledgeable about the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, and when His Majesty came to Jamaica and left the church, and when Bob Marley went to the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, and we started to understand, say, baptism is a certain part of it, of that spiritual journey. So hence you get an album named More Teachings. So it is a journey. So it wasn't just music. We lived this before me put on my dreadlocks. You know. See it there? I sit down on it. Before me put on this, you know. See it there? See it there? Before me put on that on my head. And we said, no, I have to dread for be Rasta. You dig? Because when we did that, white rice and bully beef, and as some youth grew up in a 12 tribe and Hacksteel, you see the whole of them thing there. But once a spiritual consciousness came to me, I begin to study Leviticus 11. I start understand, give thanks to my grandmother who was a Seventh-day Adventist. So when I eat things, when I eat pork, I never eat pork yet. I never eat no shellfish. I don't eat crab because those things are against the dietary laws.
Right.
When you consider yourself Israel, people still eat it, but when you make that vow and say, yo, me not eat certain things. So this was already in my DNA, growing up from my grandmother and my father, Rastaman, and so it was already there. Them time I have my goatee and me have my head side of my head shave off. Those pictures are there. So we have some real youth. We keep it real.
Right.
You understand? Because people love to act like this fictitious thing, like this Rasta thing. Rasta, first of all, Rastafarianism is not a religion. It is a way of life. It is a liberation movement that to awaken the black people and make them know, so we are kings and queens to bring out that royalness. You dig what I say? But it has a spiritual nucleus.
Right.
There's a certain spiritual nucleus that is within it. And the foundation of that spiritual nucleus is Christianity by the way of Ethiopia. No, you can't even go deeper than that, because by going back to Egypt. So, but we don't have time for that.
Episode 2.
But you have to bring enough man in another reason in there. But I know myself, and I know the history, and know where this world is going, and we just have to do my part. You know, me like to call my fans them the Gramps tribe. You saw Beyonce call for fans them the Beehive.
Yeah.
My fans them name the Gramps tribe. You know.
I love that. You know, as artists put out music, we have big tune, we have commercially successful songs, we got all kind of music. We have good music, and I've always etched out a little shelf for songs that I deem important songs.
Yeah.
That song you mentioned earlier, Don't Have a Dread to Be Rasta, I think is a very important song.
It changed life, man. It changed life, because a man like you would have no ear upon your head, and you believe in the divinity. You believe in the divinity of His Majesty. You believe in the Solomonic throne, the dynasty of King David and King Solomon. You believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yo, that not mean say you're not Rasta, because the teachings is here. Because look how much man have 100 lakhs on them head, and them don't live by the Leviticus law. Them yam pork, them yam shellfish, them yam all kind of thing of prostitutions where once you become like a Rastafarian is almost like a priest, you know, it's almost like a certain, you take for yourself from certain things. Right. But you're still, Mr. Rastaman still a drink. Mr. Rastaman still a wine up. We still a make baby. So we are human beings. We consume all the good and the bad things of the planet. That is the realness, right? But at the same time, when that song came out, it released, it freed so much people. Because a man feel Rastafarianism in his heart and his soul. I want him to hear certain tune, him probably chant out Rastafari. But then I see a woman already ball out Rastafari already. Enough woman when him there, when we said Ja boy, I said Rastafari there on stage. I said Ja, I said Rastafari. And then this is, I'm going to church Sunday. I'm going in mosque the next day. But it's an energy. As I say, Rastafarianism is not a religion. It is a liberating movement to rise up black people and make them understand who them is. Not to become racist, not to become any kind of ist, or ism or schism, but to rise up your way of thinking. You can't still eat your chicken, you can't still eat your beef as long as it's on the dietary law. That's why I'm deer.
Right.
So you have to know the dietary laws, which is Leviticus 11. So it's knowing of oneself is the key. So when Don't Have Dread come out in a G call, it frees so many people and say, yo, I don't work at the bank, and the bank I'll tell me so I can't have dreadlocks. Make good, Mr. Rasta. The Rasta liberty. Yeah.
I love that. That is very refreshing because, like I said, that song to me is an important song. One thing I have noticed to it, the Morgan Heritage catalog as it came along, one thing I looked at and I said, yo, the names of the albums were also very important, right?
Yeah.
So the Strickler Roots go all the way back, right?
Yeah.
Teaching everything. Now, I also noticed that with your albums. Now, we're starting with the latest one right about now, which is Positive Vibration, right? Mm-hmm. Did the song Positive Vibration come before the title of the album, or did you title it off of that song? After?
It was one I did closer to the end of the album. And when we listen to the album and we listen to Islander, it feels good to be an islander. If only for one day. When you listen to that song, it's like you just step on the beach and not easy and reach a certain point in my life. I'm soon 50. What more am I gonna do? Me still a chase down pum pum. Me still a hurt woman. Me still a stress out. Me still a tour for 17, 18 months. And you there at the house we need your attention as a father. Carry you look at that, I have an ice cream. Am I still the same man that I was 25 years ago? I shouldn't be.
Right.
So you find that there's a certain sense of maturity in the album where you just like me just easy and kick back and know and ready to enjoy. Cause like we say with people, I've never been on a vacation. Never.
Wow.
I left straight from high school, turned down my American football scholarship and go straight from Springfield, Massachusetts to New York City. And having turned back 2 years later, we got Jamaica. No, that same summer I went to Jamaica, we got signed to MCA Records. And then we stayed with MCA for 2 years. And then after a while, it was just like the music we did an album called Miracle, and it was just very mechanical and overproduced. And was like, my father said, yo, I go back to Jamaica, yeah, man.
Wow.
Not go back. Me want to move to Jamaica. And my father did faint in the bathroom at Brooklyn and just tired. And I said, yo, I need to go back where me come from. And he went back and him just say, yo, what I do? Not big people, no. And we just say, yo, we are coming at daddy. And I saw we end up at Jamaica and then meet Dennis Howard, Bobby Digital and King Jammys. You know, Dennis Howard was very instrumental in building those relationships.
Wow. Because I think sometimes, you know, or it's very organic. It has an organic sound, but certain things you can tell that efforts are put into. And the way the album opened up with Positive Vibration, that's why I asked. I was like, yo, did that song come before the title of the album? Did you write that song for facilitate? You know what I mean? The concept of the album, but it's very, very dope.
Yeah, it was just G-Call. It was just a vibe. Like when we felt it, it just felt positive. It just felt fun. You know, I feel like G-Call, when you realize, I'm gonna give you a secret. You realize like almost all of the artists them in Jamaica, and even a lot in black music, like everybody wants to be a gangster.
Yep.
Let me just say, even the R&B sweet singer, him have this kind of bad boy swag thing, like him Afi, like everybody's a gangster. Nobody a peer talks. Nobody no love God again. Nobody no love the woman again. Like, what's going on? So me now, I'm like, through me study this thing, I know, and been there. I'm from Brooklyn, yo. Don't get it twisted. Like, we can have that conversation. Right. But I like barbecues and a nice glass red of wine. I can't finish the glass of red wine, but keep it simple and fun, right? So we don't need to go there. So means I'm gonna miss some things like that. And I say, yo, we need to kind of chill out and relax, man. Enjoy life. We live in a paradise and still there's so much war. Why we live in such a place where so many other people want to be and come and visit from around the world? And still you have some people who live down in the inner city them and never got mobile yet.
Yeah.
So wrong. It's the mindset of our people. It's not Jamaica. Nothing wrong with Jamaica. People stop because Jamaica. She will be fine. But it's the people. It's the mindset.
Yeah.
Because Jamaica's nice from the beginning of time until the pirates them come and all kind of man wickedness go on. But it's always people is the problem. And if until the people and fix our mindset, then it's gonna be a bad thing. Because if you notice, it's not everybody I run from Jamaica.
You can't get some people for leaving them.
Okay, sir. Okay. Okay.
That is very true. Very true. Very true.
There's a lack of opportunity and people want to feed them youth, and a man realizing an artist and I'm a fair walk with 20 man and 2 gun pan in hip is like, what kind of lifestyle is that? What kind of quality of life is that? That him can't even go up on the road and have an ice cream with him daughter or him son or carrying you them go to school. So, you know, especially with people, that's why when people talk to me about certain things, you know, and talk about black people this and black people are shoot one and I don't want to hear it because black people have their own problem. We are the worst enemy. Man say, yo, the white man this and racism. And I say, yo, black people are the most racist because we're racist against we own ourselves. We hate everybody. We hate everybody. That's the first we have to have first love. You ever see black man? Actually, look a white boy. That's racist. That's
it is. It is. I remember Chris Rock said one time, boy, the most racist man on the planet is an old black man. Old black man.
And then he start talking about all the mistakes so he making a film life, and then him just not like nobody. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because I feel like people grow, you know, people evolve, and you can sometimes see the transitions in life. Like I hear positive vibration right now. And prior to that, you know, you guys, again, I want to say, don't have a dread for Rasta. If you listen to the Strictly Roots album, if you listen to the 3-in-1, if you listen to all those albums, the message is there, right? The content is there, the liberty is there. But yet still, prior to this album, I used to see someone say, I'm chilling on the beach in Hawaii. And I loved, there's something about that, the whole Loyalty album and as a whole, but even that song, Beaches in Hawaii, and then it transition into this, it sounds like you're making a concerted effort to give the people some happy music. Is that because we are lacking in it? Or it's just, yo, that's a Gramps to write about? No, man, enjoy everything, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's also, when you check the Loyalty album, there's also songs when I talk about bedrock, listening to it. And you talk about, and you have beach and country at the same time, and you have an next tune named Slave and Slave Master. So we not tolerate that no more. And then hence we come see the rioting go on. When them young youth nowadays, especially African American, them man not take no talk again. Them in a marching thing. The man say burn it down. Target and Walgreens and Walmart, feel it. And then corporate America say, okay, guys, okay, we got their attention.
Yep.
And now they are willing to come to the table and negotiate and know everything. The greatest thing right now is to be black in this country because the opportunity you can, if you qualify for the job, it's better than when it was 5-6 years ago. Because now corporate America is willing to listen and entertain you to see if you qualify for the job, as an example. So those jobs, that's why in the NFL and certain sports, you see now they're willing to talk about black executives, black coaches, black administrators. So, you know, it shouldn't have taken that feat gone so far and people going so bad and so much fire burn, but like Capleton said, I'm more fire.
Gotta do what we gotta do.
Respect, man.
Something that I wondered about why not this album, but the sophomore album, right?
Yeah.
Reggae music lives. We always, because the conversation had always come up. Hey, is reggae music dead? People always say, some say it dead, some say it can never dead, or whatever it gives me. Why did you call that album Reggae Music Lives?
Because it was like, when I got the track, I think it was from Clive Hunt. It was Clive Hunt produced that song there. And the rhythm just said to me, it was so, and the reggae music lives, yeah. Hear me now, by the powers of Jah, I declare. It was just sometimes when you get to read him in a G Cole, the track talk to you if you listen carefully.
Mhm.
The track talk to you and tell you what to say. So it just really just said that to me. And I think it was a statement that needed to be said because at the time too, I think people were at the point of saying reggae revival, which is a great thing. I think where the resurgence of reggae, would have been more fitting. But to say revive, you only revive something that is dead.
Yeah.
And it is never dead, Or you have to revive something that is dead. Luciano come along, Garnet before that. And you can go right back. We know the history of the music. So now that it's like me come on as a new artist now. Me I'm 15 years old and me I say, yeah, me I bring back reggae. You have to be careful what you say. And it was said with good intentions. So I just said to the world, and I think it was before that whole reggae revival thing. I think it was, yeah, because that was the album released 2012.
Yeah.
I just wanted the people to know that reggae is here and it's here to stay. Because everybody come from reggae and then them go, what do you hear them have a thing I'm going to name tropical dancehall, I think. And I'm like, dancehall is dancehall, I won't not do. And even I say to people and people that talk about California reggae and Hawaiian reggae, and those people know that these are Korean reggae artists and a Chinese reggae band and a Spanish reggae band. So reggae is just what? Reggae.
Right.
God, them all try to divide us, but we cannot let them do that.
That is so true. That is so true. And over the years, we've seen a lot of reggae artists as artists come out and do what they do. How important is it that we need to get some more Morgan heritage? How we need some more like not backing bands, because we got a ton load of backing band about artists, but some bands that are self-contained and everything is in-house and that's what they deliver.
A band. A band, like people call Morgan Heritage a group. We're not a group. We're not the Four Tops.
Right.
We're not New Edition. We're a band like Steel Pulse, like the Rolling Stones, like the Wailers, like Van Halen. We're a band. So I think it's very important to continue that legacy of Jamaican reggae bands. It's very important because it is something that was good, and we came and saw that it was good and did our work as a band. And I think there's more that bands. Big up to the bands that there are some out there that are rising up. They just need the right promotion. And a lot of people always say to me, say, yo, when I come with a new album, you know what, Radio Man come to me and say, yo, I would not drop a new album. I said, brother, last week we dropped the album.
Yep.
So I think even in our media, we need to do our homework. We need to do more due diligence in being aware of what is happening in our industry. Because too many times I had this conversation with Nightly Fix. Me and my brother Peter was on there doing an interview, and I said, enough media in Jamaica because it's so much to promote. Because we are so talented and gifted. We are put out. I know several artists in our fraternity that can do an album in one day. I've seen it. I was in the studio. And is it quantity over quality, or is it quality over quantity? So it's just the mindset of a change in a J. Cole. And that is the problem. We have to change the mindset. Because for me, I think there's too much music being put out for people like you, J. Cole, people like, Irie, Jam, and the Jamaican DJs, Whistle, and all these all the great DJs, Rico Vibes. You guys have a problem.
Yeah.
We don't have too much music to play. And then don't have to sift through it and shift and say, this are good, this bad. And then play a next man tune and say, this me, king, play my tune. So I think we need to have regulations and standards for our music that certain things is not supposed to be played on the radio. If it's not a certain quality, you don't see them have that problem in a hip hop and R&B. Still yet, I'm not telling artists don't be creative enough, but I think there should be a certain standard that radio stations, that we are the professionals, are in certain level, in certain cities, on certain levels of radio stations, you're not supposed to play. You're supposed to get charged. Because you are part of the destruction of the arts.
Yep.
In our arena. Because you're making him believe that it is good. So there needs to be a certain board, a certain cabinet where we say, all right, make a guitar listen and see if it pass. Okay, then you reach to the next stage. Amanda say, yo, my tune, and then man give a man a little cookie, and then say, boy, hold this now. Yeah, hold this now. I need to blow up that tune. If it's not good, it's not good.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. And again, it's because if I sit here on my soapbox and talk about that on a regular, people don't want to hear that. But I appreciate when the artists can see it from that vantage point too, because I do think that the airwaves, the market, and my email is oversaturated with music. A lot of stuff coming in, and it has become. I think it has been a part of the Jamaican culture and reggae music culture, but it's gotten worse because we've always been prone to creating a lot of music, especially once the creative part of it became not the creative, but the production part of it became a lot less expensive. But the quality didn't have to depreciate, which you can create a lot of good music. I create a lot of music and just put out the good ones. But sometimes people feel so, well, we don't pay for the studio time. It's whack, it's trash, but hey, we don't pay for the studio time.
It's not to bash any young artist or any budding artist, any blooming artist, that it's okay. But I'm saying you have to understand that you have to put in a certain amount of development. It's called artist development. We don't have those programs in reggae and dancehall. I'm on this feel like, say, yo, in this and in my pirate, this artist, or I'm doing this crew. So one day must boss her and then bridge and give him the mic on the stage and him get a look forward. So he might say, he might run the place now. And those things need to stop, or we'll never be able to carry the music where it's supposed to go. So, and it's not just reggae and dancehall have that problem. It's happening in hip hop. It happens in R&B. It happens in rock and roll. It happens in jazz. So it's not a reggae dancehall problem or a Jamaica problem. It is a music industry problem. But I am speaking because I'm a patriotic Jamaican, because I love my people and I love the Gramps tribe and I love reggae dancehall music. So me have to talk about what going in a filmy backyard.
I feel you, and that's what we need to do. They have their advocates, so for them people fight for them battles. We got our own to fight.
Yes, sir.
Before we roll up out of here, Gramps, because trust me, let me say we could have done an episode. Is a couple of things. One, and again, we're talking reggae and dancehall just because it matters to us. If I'm handing you the keys to the fraternity right now, what are you changing?
That's a good question. First thing I would change is the quality, the standard, or standards. I would pressure our industry to have better quality recording standards. Secondly, is better quality songwriting. Those are the first two things I would change, because it's so important for the development and the future of the music. Especially for our people. You have to understand music is more influential than politics. You just try to go to a political convention and no music not there. It's going to be a problem. You just try to go to a church and no music not there. It's going to be a problem. So music is a very powerful format. Many people like to say, boy, music another problem and this. If me I tell you if you do certain things and I do this and rare, you're going to be influenced by it, especially if it's melodic and influential and very infectious. You're going to be influenced by it. So don't get it twisted. Music influences society 100%. And we must take responsibility for our actions and our words. If your thing is a gun thing, just understand the work that you are doing. If your thing is a love thing, understand the work that you are doing. If your thing is a spiritual thing, understand the work that you are doing. But don't think that music is not influential and try to stray away from that responsibility.
Right.
See you loud.
I love that. I love that. And I see a lot of people doing that. Are trying to do that. No, you still have the keys. We get the keys. That's what you're changing.
Yes.
What are you not changing? What do you like? And say, you know what? We're holding on to this.
Yeah, I wouldn't change the culture original style. When I talk about the culture, when I talk about Kumina drumming,
Wow.
mento music,
Wow.
the old school, original, that energy, because it holds a spiritual nucleus and an energy that is so infectious to us that we don't even realize.
Right.
The original connection with Africa. It is so important to rebuild back those pillars in our house. It is so important to build back those pillars in our house. That brings us back to family.
Right.
Because when it comes back to family, the family is the first nation. You know? The father is the president, the wife is the vice president, and the first child is the secretary of state. So it is a mini government. And if we don't take that mentality and man rise to the occasion and take care of the woman and give her good loving and build her to stand by his side, then the destruction of the home begins. Whether you're black, white, Chinese, it don't matter. It's not a color thing. It is a governmental thing. So the family is the first government. So that is what I would inspire people to do and begin to value. And those principles in the Western Hemisphere has been destroyed in the Caribbean and Jamaica. We, the people of the Caribbean, we have now even begun to lose ourselves. In the 70s, there was one time where the African American was looking to we for a little bit sense of culture. And I'm not talking about culture when we say respect man and jerk chicken and red stripe. I'm talking about the essence of Africa, of a language we named Patois that we were once ashamed of to speak. When it was the mere essence and connection back to Africa. In Africa, you still have where the elders come and sit up and you have to come visit and talk to the elders and get permission to do certain things. And when you're ready to get a wife, you have to bring 2 cow and a goat if you come bring and show your respect and honor to that family. Them things not go on now. Girl that's ready for breed, man ready for lay down with woman. These things need to come back. So it's serious.
So the culture, we're holding on to the culture. I love that. But here's where it gets sticky though, Gramps. Here's where it gets sticky now. You've got to go away and do some. I don't know what you did, but you got to go do some time. All right, and a one CD I can carry with you. But we're trying to make your life a lot easier here by making it a lot more difficult. You can take one Morgan Heritage CD with you. Which one is it going to be?
More teachings.
More teachings.
Yeah.
Wow. One of my favorites.
That is a book. More Teachings album is a book. It's an essence of substance. It is information. There's a spiritual energy in it that carries you. And like we say, each album, I couldn't make 5 albums like that because if you carry along the journey, you know, you sit on a church every day and think, say, God help those who do it, help them what?
Themselves. Yep.
So I'm not going to give you no blindfold you and tell you, say, hey, sit down at church every day. I nah do that because I see people sit down at church and man come in there and shot them in the head and kill them. So if you're not safe in the church, we are safe. So I can't give you that illusion. I'm going to know, say, when within that Morgan Heritage family musical journey, you have steamed fish, you have roast fish, you have fried fish, put look bami. It flavors, not true.
Yeah, and it makes
it palatable and enjoyable. So it goes.
But I'm hungry and I know it.
For a long time, I want something where go hold me substance. So it would be that album.
Some musical sustenance. I dig you. Yeah. I dig that thing. That makes a whole lot of sense. And then now, we talk about bands, groups, whatever, teams, whatever. It's a challenge to keep those things together because we have different dynamics. Everybody's got their own idiosyncrasies and stuff like that. You guys are family, so I mean, you can't quit the family. You might be able to jump out the band, but you can't quit the family. So does being family help the band stay together, or does being in the band, help it be tighter when it comes to family?
Nah, neither one. It's the
neither
love.
One.
Either it's the love for each other.
Wow.
It's our love for each other, or we love each other. See me, I do my solo project here now, and my brothers and sisters is my biggest fans.
Wow.
They must say, Gramps, don't stop, push the album. You send the album with G. Cole. Well, go on, you do an interview with G. Cole, you do an interview with this one, you don't stop. Because he's a man who does say, all right, That's so me stay.
Yeah.
Like that, I mean that. My brother will say, yo, Gramps, you can't ease up, man. because he's a simple man. I'm a simple man. No, I'm getting up in age and I've done so much work. I'm going to look back and say, God is pleased, man. God is pleased.
Nice.
It's a part we want to enjoy my brethren them and we just enjoy life. Because I mean, I'm not going to be the old guy where I bad mind the youth, the man I said. I just laugh on them and say, boy, you never did that, do.
I love it.
Yes, sir.
So here's the thing though, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run a couple songs after this. I keep them to the end because just in case Facebook cut to it, you know what I mean, them to lose your reasoning. But of course, radio will get it all. There's two things I always wonder about when it comes to groups and bands, but in your case, a band, right?
Yeah.
Who in the band? Well, three. Who in Morgan Heritage? Too serious. Need for chill out. Him too serious.
Too serious.
Yeah, the pan. Yo, brother. You know, you always have that person where always in you try goof off, you try, and them always I bring it right back. Who's that guy? Peter?
Yeah.
And I'm too much.
Me.
And the last one is this. Who's always late? Who you always are wait, man? Who's the pan? Yo, where him there? Who that?
Sure, straight.
I don't know why I'm not surprised. Gramps, tell the people them again the name of the album.
Yes, man. The name of the album first is called Positive Vibration. 15 tracks. Features on the album is my father, Denry Morgan, my son, Jamiri Morgan. I think it's the first time in reggae that you have had 3 generations, father, son, and grandson. You have Indiari on it. That all 3 of my solo albums, Indiari has been on it. And of course, my friend for over 25 years, Shaggy, is on the album. Somebody that has always been there, supportive. He actually also helped write a song on my first solo album, which was called Two Sides of My Heart, Volume 1. And there was a song called Roll Call, and he helped me write the melody and some of the lyrics. So big up to Shaggy. He was also on the album on a song called Float Your Boat. And if you listen to that song, it's the nucleus of the entire album where it just say, yo, on the beach, if you have on a 2-piece bikini or 1 birthday suit, everything Irish same way.
Hold on, man.
Even if you have a busted flip-flop or barefoot, everything Irish same way. So it's just an energy where I say, yo, everything Irish, man. But if you're a young man, you know, study this album. You have to go back and study more teachings and don't have to join.
I love it. And what I dig about the catalog is that there's something for everybody.
Yeah, man.
You know, they say that's a song for all seasons. There's something you want a reference, it did it. You want just feel good. And that's a challenge because most people who embody any form of militance, a lot of times they don't want to. And I think a lot of times it's not that they don't want to, they feel like they are not able to escape that militance sometimes. They can't smile. You know what I mean?
To know where you are in your life, you know, and be comfortable in those shoes. You know, some man drink stout, some man drink soda. So you have to know what is you, you know. So, no respect for having Gramps Morgan once again.
Give thanks, my brother. Give thanks. I'm gonna let you go because I gotta drop this music. I'm gonna want nobody vex with me because everybody them love the reason and so forth. But me know says at least one person gonna vex with me if they don't get that album. And also tell them which part them can go get the album to, please.
Yeah, man. Go to iTunes and download the album. Download the full album. You won't be disappointed. And if you don't like it, just tell iTunes or Amazon Music you want your money back. But go and support so we can buy a toothbrush and buy baby shoes and, you know, because this is what we do for a living. It's like you have a shop and I'll come in your shop and say, yeah, you can't give me them shoes there for free, man. It's the same thing that you're doing. Or y'all coming to my furniture store and say, well, you can't give me that fridge there. It's the same thing. I may have to pay rent, may have to pay the insurance for the building, may have to pay all of these things that come along with owning a business. So the music is our business. And the music is the items inside of the business. So go and support it. Take me to #1 Gramps Tribe. Go to iTunes right now and buy Positive Vibration, my brand new album, 15 tracks.
Brother, On behalf of the masses listening in on the radio, the people watching right about live, thank you so much for taking a minute out here. Well, it's a couple of minutes, for taking some time. Hang out with us. I'm going to squeeze off some music. We'll link up another time.
Respect, man. Enough love and respect. Big up the Gramps tribe. I will soon, very soon.
Blessings, fam. Blessings. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Gramps Morgan, and we're squeeze off some tunes. Let's go.
Positive vibration.
And there you have it. Thank you so much for tuning in. It has indeed been a pleasure. Please be sure to subscribe to this podcast, Homegrown with G. Cole, available everywhere. All right. Also, check out the website, homegrownwithgcole.com, to listen and for all things homegrown. And to watch the video of this interview, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Remember, be safe, be kind, and be good to each other. My name is G. Cole, and this is Homegrown.
Nakikinig ka sa música, Homegrown with G. Cole.
Estás escuchando Homegrown con G. Cole.
您现在正在收听的是 Homegrown with G. Cole.
You're listening to Homegrown with G. Cole.
Remember, all the music played here on Homegrown with G. Cole is available on iTunes, Spotify, and all your digital retailers. Please support the artists.